Today, I'm going to talk to you about how I calibrate my torque wrenches accurately for only $5 using a digital luggage scale and a socket and a tape measure. And you'll probably need some tape too. Okay, so maybe a little bit more than $5, but you should already have some of this stuff. Next, take your socket, put it in your vise. Oh yeah, you're going to need a vise too. If you don't have a vise, well, I don't know, go buy a vise. Come on, you need a vise. Everybody needs a vise. Now cinch down the vise. Next, take your torque wrench and put it in the socket. Next, adjust your torque wrench. I usually like to use a value mid-range in the torque wrench. So for this torque wrench, I'm going to choose 35 foot-pounds. Now take a piece of tape and stick it to the handle of the torque wrench. Now, take your tape measure and measure from the center of the head of the torque wrench to a convenient place on the handle and mark it. I'm going to mark this one off at 1 foot. If your torque wrench is shorter than a foot, don't worry about it. Just find a convenient place on the handle and mark the length. Here, I'm going to use 9 inches, and I'm going to write that here so I don't forget it. If your torque wrench is longer than 12 inches from the center of the head to the handle, don't worry about it. You still want to mark a convenient location on the handle. In this instance, we're going to do 23 inches. Torque wrenches were engineered to have force applied at the handle location. So that's why we don't want to pull on a torque wrench from the bar. We always want to use the handle. Next, we're going to take a digital luggage scale and place it where we marked the torque wrench. Now this torque wrench was marked at 12 inches. That makes things easier for demonstration purposes. But whether it was marked at 9 inches or 25 inches, it doesn't really matter because we can convert that later. Remember, this wrench is set to 35 foot-pounds. We're going to pull on the torque wrench until it clicks. So as you can see, this torque wrench is reading about 4 foot-pounds low. Let's try again. Try to do nice, smooth pressure. 32 foot-pounds that time. We'll go 3. 31. Try one more time. 31. And that was like 31.9. So it's pulling at about 32 foot-pounds and it's set for 35. So we're about 3 foot-pounds off. To calibrate the torque wrench, we're going to unlock it and bring it down to its lowest setting. Next, we're going to loosen the coupler nut. This nut couples the threaded spring tensioner to the handle. Next, we're going to adjust the spring tension. We're going to be tightening the spring tension because the torque wrench is reading low. So we've tightened the spring tension a few turns. Now we're going to lock the tensioner and we're going to thread back on our coupler and lock it in place. Next, we're going to unlock the spring tensioner and we're going to readjust our wrench to 35 foot-pounds. And relock it. Now that we've adjusted our torque wrench, let's try it again. Okay, that was at 35. Let's try one more time. Perfect. Now we happened to get lucky and adjusted the wrench the correct amount the first time. But if you get it wrong, no worries. Just do the process over again and then remeasure until you get it right. Now let's talk about a torque wrench that has the handle greater than 12 inches away from the head. This torque wrench is set for 80 foot-pounds, which is towards the middle of its range, and we've made a mark 23 inches from the center of the head. Now this torque wrench is brand new and should be accurately calibrated from the factory. The reason that I'm doing this is to show you how to calculate the torque from the scale reading when your handle is greater than or less than 12 inches away from the head of the torque wrench. Just like last time, we're going to see what weight reading we get at the click. Okay, I think that was close to 42. Okay, I'm going to call that 42. So we have our measurement from our scale of 42 foot-pounds. 42 pounds. And we have our distance, which was 23 inches. To convert these two numbers into pound-feet of torque, we're going to multiply them together and divide by 12 inches. And that's going to equal 80.5 pound-feet of torque. I had the torque wrench set to 80. Boom. One thing that you could do if you're a total nerd like I am is you could do all of these calculations in advance in Excel and print yourself one of these quick reference guides. So we had a weight of 42 pounds and 23 inches, 80.5. Now there's one way that you can introduce significant error into your calculation. When you're pulling your scale, you need it to be at a 90-degree angle from the torque wrench. If the angle is off, it's going to throw off the amount of force that the torque wrench is experiencing from the pull. The way that you can account for that error, let's see, scale. So why am I drawing this? I already printed it out. The way that you account for this error is by taking the cosine of the angle above or below 90 degrees. I've done a couple of calculations here already, and the error that you get at plus or minus 5 degrees from 90 would be less than 1%. At 10 degrees, it'd be 1.5%. And at 20 degrees, it would be 6%. I recommend using a tool to line everything up. And I found that it's pretty easy to fall within 5 degrees just by line of sight. Alright guys, well that about does it for my torque wrench calibration video. One thing to keep in mind, you always want to keep your torque wrenches stored at their lowest setting to keep them nice and accurate for you. And you also want to keep them in their protective case away from other tools so they don't become damaged. If you liked this video, let me know why you liked it in the comments. Likewise, if you hated this video, I guess you can let me know that too. If you want to see more videos like this, you can let me know by subscribing. Alright guys, stay safe.